I'll tell you something right now, that snug pack stratosphere, it's done, it's gone. You'll never see it again on this channel. It's out of my house. Welcome back, guys. So I've had a little bit of time now to relax and chill after completing the West Highland Way, and in that time frame it's gave me a moment or two to reflect on the trip, the things I've done right and the things I've done wrong, and that's exactly what I want to talk with you about in today's video. I've got a list of 5 things I've done wrong, but also because at the end of the day the trip, it was a success, so I've got 5 things I also done right. So without messing about, let's get straight into it, and we'll start off with the 5 things I done wrong. Right, so the first thing I'd done wrong on this trip was not using tried and tested gear. Yes, like I said at the start of the video, the snug pack stratosphere, oh man, what an absolute nightmare. If you've watched my West Highland Way video, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I'll leave a link on the end screen of this video for you to go check it out. But basically, everything that could have went wrong with it, it went wrong. From condensation to the rain getting through to even letting the midges in, it was an absolute nightmare. And I suppose it was fun. I definitely brung some new challenges to overcome, but in a serious situation, this is the last thing you'd want to be dealing with. The thing is as well, if you look online, there's so many good reviews on the stratosphere, so my thought process, I just assumed that it'd be good enough, it would do the job. But yeah, lesson learned the hard way. At the end of the day, you really need to go out and try and test your own gear before you're putting it up and giving it a proper challenge like a long distance hike. Alright, number 2, and that is using a poncho as my waterproofs. So I used the Snugpack Enhanced Patrol Poncho, and it done alright, to be fair, it done alright considering the crazy winds and rain that I had on the second half of the trip. I can't fault it too much. But you know what, I'm stubborn and I'm still not ready to commit to the waterproof jacket and the waterproof trousers. What I have in mind for my next trip and what I'll try out is I'd go with a waterproof jacket, but I'll ditch the trousers and instead I'll just put a pair of sports shorts on, something that's going to be super quick drying when it does stop raining. They're extremely lightweight as well, so I wouldn't be adding any extra weight to my kit, and also I tend to bring a pair anyways for when I'm doing my wild swimming, so I'm not actually adding any extra items into my kit, which I really like the sound of. I may have to switch it up a bit when it comes to those colder winter months, but for the rest of the year I'm thinking this is a super lightweight, super simple setup. Alright, number 3, and that is to switch out my current hiking boots, the Scarpa Terra GTX, for something a lot more lightweight, and I'm thinking along the lines of some trail runners. I'm really into me running right now, so this could be a 2-in-1 combination thing going on. I can run with them and then I can also go off and do me long hikes with them as well. The Scarpas, the boot that I currently own, are really good, don't get me wrong, they've lasted a couple of years and they've definitely got many more years left in them. But what I found on the last trip I'd done was, as the days went on, I wasn't feeling the weight in me pack so much. It was all down on me feet in these boots. And also when the boot actually got wet through after the downpours, it was crazy. Like, it was like carrying 2 bricks on my feet. So like I said, I'll probably switch them out next time for some trail runners, and Nike do a pair and they look pretty cool, so I'll probably go for them. But I don't have any experience on trail runners, so if any of you guys using them, let me know in a comment below what they're like. Are they worth it? Number 4, and they don't call me Dazzy the Dafty for nothing. Yes, I would actually bring a water filter this time. So I was feeling brave. I wanted to put it up to the next level, go into hardcore mode for this trip, and to be fair, it wasn't actually too bad. I did get by, I got the trip done. I used some purification tablets, and to be honest, I didn't really use them. I used 1 or 2, but by the time I'd put them in and waited half an hour, I was at a place where there was a water tap or something. The alternative things I was doing is I had a stainless steel water bottle, so I could boil that water and purify it that way. And also on some occasions, I was just drinking it straight from the stream. So the reasons I would bring a water filter this time is, first off, when I was, like I said, drinking it straight from the stream, occasionally I would find the odd bug or something in there. Now some of you might say that's extra protein. Good point, I suppose it is, but When you're out in the middle of nowhere, it's a little bit dodgy. If I get sick from drinking the water straight, I don't know, it's all a little bit dodgy, I suppose. And secondly, what I left at home is the Sawyer Mini Squeeze, but I combined that with the CNOC water bladder. Now that is really useful for just gathering up a bunch of water, and then when you get to camp, you can set that up on a tree or something. And now I have an extra 2 litre of water beside us. So I found on this trip, when I actually got set up at camp, I felt like I needed to ration me water, and that's the last thing you want to do on a long hike. You're going to be dehydrated from a long day's hiking, and you just want to replenish yourself with lots of water. But I had to be very cautious, so bringing a water filter, I'd have that CNOC bag, the water bladder that would carry extra water for me for when I settled down at camp. Right, number 5, and the last thing I'd done wrong on this trip was not bringing any bug protection. So honestly, next time I'd bring the whole shebang. Head net, bug spray, gloves, flamethrower, NASA spacesuit, everything. So yeah, on the last trip I'd done, I didn't even bring a head net. Now, my thought process at the time was I have the Snugpak Stratosphere. I usually sleep under a tarp, so that having the Stratosphere, something to get into and completely close off from the outside, is a lot more protection than what I'd usually have. But like I said earlier, the Snugpak Stratosphere wasn't tried and tested, and it let those bugs in. And as well, up Scotland where I was, midges are level times 100. I think they're putting steroids or something in them. They're absolutely wild. Fortunately, I was able to pick up a head net en route, which really helped out. But also I bring some gloves, because when I came time to setting up camp or packing camp away, when I had my hands out doing all the stuff I need to do, they were just swarming and gathering up on my hands, and it was crazy. I'd rub them off my hands, seconds later they were just piling back up on there. I'd also bring some bug spray as well. Honestly, no messing about next time, just get the whole thing, get it laid on there, and hopefully they'll give us a little bit of peace. Remember, if you want peace, prepare for war, and that is exactly my mindset when it comes to midges and other bugs now. Right, that's 5 things I've done wrong, but at the end of the day, the trip was a success. So here's 5 things that I done right. Right, so the first thing I done right was using a bin bag as a bin liner. So I'm completely sold on this idea now. This is something I'll be doing, whether it's a short hike, long hike, whether I'm combining it with a bag cover or a poncho. Bin bag liners are the way to go. At the end of the day, it's extremely budget friendly. I mean, it costs what, pennies? It also weighs nothing, and it doesn't add any extra bulk to your kit. Usually in this game of camping and bushcraft hiking, you've got to weigh up the pros and cons to different equipment, but on this occasion, I honestly see no cons at all. It's all pros. So whatever you're using on the outside of your kit to keep dry, whether that be a bag cover or a poncho, if the weather's bad enough, it doesn't matter, your rucksack underneath is still going to get wet. So this is a little fail-safe method to keep all the important stuff in your rucksack dry. For example, your sleeping bag. So I worked really well for me, nothing much more to say on the matter. That's something I'll be using from here on out. Number 2 of what I done right, and that was choosing the correct sleeping bag. So my sleeping bag, it really did save my ass on this trip. So when I'm hiking about throughout the day, even in the downpours, I had it in the bin bag liner, so it was staying dry. The bin bag liner was doing its job. But when it came to the night, like I said at the beginning of the video, the Snugpak Stratosphere was an absolute nightmare when it came to the condensation and the rain. So if it wasn't for my sleeping bag, I would have been getting soaking wet throughout the night. So what's good about it? Well, first of all, it's the Snugpak hammock quilt. So it's not actually a sleeping bag, it's a quilt. But the good things about it is it's a synthetic bag, so it's not the down. So in those damp conditions, it's going to be better. But also on the top side of it, it has like a waterproof or at least a water resistant material. So when the Snugpak Stratosphere was getting wet through, my sleeping bag was still a barrier protecting me from the wet. So yeah, like I said, it really did save me at least from a lot of miserable night's sleep anyways. Also, what I done correct with my sleeping bag was this bag is rated down to about 0 degrees Celsius. Now, it was summertime when I'd done this trip, but I found on the odd night or two, the temperatures really did drop pretty low. So if I'd chosen a summer bag or something like that, or something a bit warmer, then I probably would have went cold through a couple of nights. So choosing a low rated bag, which I did do, was 2 thumbs up. Number 3, and that is exercise. I am on it right now with my exercises. Since I came back from the West Highland Way a couple of weeks or so, I've been proper on it. I've had so much motivation to get out, go on my runs and do my workouts. If you give me a couple of more months, I'm going to be the baddest man in Newcastle. When I walk in the woods, all the trees walk out. That's how scared they're going to be of me. But yeah, without getting too far ahead of myself, bring it back a little bit. Exercising before this trip really did help me out, because when I found myself on the trip after a couple of days, man, it was a lot tougher physically than what I was expecting. So I definitely recommend, if you're planning on doing a long distance hike, get a little bit of running or a little bit of workout in there before you go. It's going to help you out so much. Obviously, I don't need to go into all the benefits of exercise, but what I do want to say is, whether you have time to exercise or not before you go off on your trip, when you come back from your trip, you have a perfect opportunity. Then you're going to naturally be fitter from your hike. So have your rest days, have a couple of takeaways, and then get out and go do your exercising, because you've got a boost head start there. You've done all the hard work on your hike. Get out, do your runs, or at least that's what I've done, and I've noticed I'm running further, I'm running faster, my workouts are easier. So it's a great opportunity after your hike, do some exercise. Number 4 on what I've done right is not bringing a map. Now, bear with me. This is very specific to the West Highland Way. Don't worry, I'm not an absolute madman in telling people to go on random long distance hikes without a map, but for the West Highland Way, it's quite common knowledge that that route is extremely well signposted. I'd be honestly really impressed if you were able to go out on that route and get lost. So there we go, number 4, super quick one, no map for the West Highland Way. So number 5, and this is a bit of an in-betweener, it's some what to do with the West Highland Way, but you could also use this knowledge for some other long hikes. So I completed the West Highland Way in 7 days and 7 nights. So if you're planning on doing another long distance hike the same length of time, maybe you could find some use in this. But what it is bringing 12 meals and a medium-sized gas canister. Now, there's 2 ways you could be looking at this, and the first way is, well, 12 meals is not enough for 7 days hiking. So what I would say to that is, on these long hikes, especially the West Highland Way, there's a lot of stop off points, and you're going to have to be extremely strong-willed to not stop off and grab yourself a burger or grab yourself some fish and chips or whatever. Some proper solid food after a long day's hiking is just, it's irresistible for me. Now and again, I'm going to have to enjoy that burger. So yeah, you are bringing a little less food to get you through the 7 days, but the occasional stop off for some fish and chips is going to balance that out. And then the other side of the argument is, well, the West Highland Way, there's so many stop off points, why would you even bring 12 meals? You don't need them. So my defense to that would be, yes, there are lots of stop off points on the West Highland Way, but if you choose to go down that route and not bring any food at all, you are going to spend a small fortune. Them businesses or the restaurants and that, they've got some hungry humans coming their way, so I feel like they do prop up the prices a little bit, which is to be expected in a tourist place. Also, if you're not going to the restaurants and you just decide to stock up at the garages or the shops, what I found in a lot of the locations, there's not a very big selection of food. Yes, you can definitely do that, but the selections of food are quite limited. So if you bring in some meals already, the ones you get from Go Outdoors or whatever, at least you know you're going to get a high density calorie meal. So yeah, bringing those 12 meals, I really found found it was a nice balancing act. So yeah, you've got your high density meals that you can have, but you can also stop off occasionally and treat yourself. And also for about £5 or £6 a pop, they might seem expensive at the start, but when you're out there and you're getting charged whatever, when you're out there, they are actually worth the money. Also with the gas canister, the medium one, that was the perfect amount. It cooked up me 12 meals, I had a few coffees as well, and I had a little bit of gas left over. So the medium sized gas canister is ideal. Thank you for watching this video, guys, and also for all the lovely comments you put on my West Highland Way videos. It means a lot, keeps me motivated to keep making this content. Also, if you're not subscribed yet, don't be shy, and thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.